Did you know that a little bit can grow into a lot? See, today I want to talk to you about Matthew chapter 13, verses 31. This is about the parable of the mustard seed, and it says, here's another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed planted in a field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but it becomes the largest of garden plants. It grows into a tree, and birds come and make nests in its branches. See, and I was thinking about that. I just had a conversation, and the mustard seed pertains to my life. See, when I was younger, I didn't know anything about Jesus. But so many people used to tell me about Jesus. And one time there was a conversation where I really paid attention. There was a guy who told me about his drug addiction. And the day that I met him, I was really high. I was really high. And he told me about his drug addiction. And I paid attention because I was like, man, he can get rid of that. That means I can too. So the seed was planted there. And then over time, people kept talking to me about Jesus. So eventually I wanted to know more about this Jesus. So then there was all the watering of the plant. So now that I'm here making this video, not saying I'm the biggest tree or, birds have nested in my branches, but I'm saying over time, from that little conversation, that little moment of my life, I'm here now living a life devoted to the Lord. And see, you watching this video, you may not know who Jesus is. You may not know about Jesus. You may have heard Bible scriptures. You may know Philippians 4:13. You may know John 3:16. You may know Joshua 1:9. You may know all these little scriptures, but you don't truly know who Jesus is. Well, I want to invite you into a moment to figure out and find out who he is. I want you to know who he is, to know and have a relationship with him, because he's a relational God. That's why he came down to die on the cross for our sins. John 3:16. But I want to tell you, because I used to be in the shoes of a person like, man, I don't want to know about no God, no Jesus. I already have my mind made up. I already know who that is. But eventually, in the verses before, from 1 to 9, it talks about planting of seeds and what happens to them. But if you open your heart and allow God to plant a seed, he will water it. He will send people to water it, and eventually you'll start watering that seed. And see, for me, all those moments before I met that one guy, it was a relation to me. He showed a story, and I grasped on. And eventually, I was like, let me go for myself. So for you, I know your story is different, or you may have a story like me. You may grew up in poverty, doing drugs. You may have grown up doing crazy things, robbing people, doing all these bad things. But God can change your life in an instant if you let him. He can plant a seed and he can water it, and eventually you'll start watering it too. And then you'll start to grow. I love you. Have a blessed day.